Good morning, I love real estate friends. My name is Vu Nguyen, and I want to share with you my story of how I will replace my income with cash flow positive property in less than 5 years. I came to Australia with my parents and younger brother as Vietnamese boat refugees with no English, no money, very little skills, but a bag full of hope and dreams. We had escaped a war-torn country and were sponsored by my uncle to live in Australia. We lived together with my uncle's family in a small house with the living people for a few years whilst my parents tried to find work during the 90s. This was during a time when Australia had one of the worst economic recessions with unemployment at around 11%. With little skills and experience, my parents were unemployed for a long time before eventually finding some work as labourers, making clothing for sweatshops, while me and my brother, we went to primary school. I remember going to school and having to wear second-hand clothes and not being able to buy any lunch or books. Some school excursions were just too expensive for my parents to afford. So when I saw my friends with these things, I felt really sad I was missing out. I was sometimes teased for wearing the old second-hand clothes, and I felt embarrassed and left out when all my friends had new clothes to wear. Growing up as a family, we did not have many possessions. We didn't have a washing machine, so my mum would wash all our clothes by hand. On many nights, we didn't have any furniture, so we sat on the ground and ate dinner together on the laid out newspaper. And food was often the same thing for days, and my parents would buy food in bulk and salt it to minimize costs. Foods like boiled potatoes and boiled carrots, boiled corn have traumatized me for having to eat it over and over again. I would have horrible nightmares of large potatoes and corn chasing me down the street and then waking up screaming in a cold sweat. Even though we didn't have much, we had one another. And my parents never fought and would always put us first before looking after themselves. They were on a mission to give us a better life. As hard as it was, we were all happy and grateful to be living in Australia. The struggles of feeling of missing out during early childhood gave me a strong drive and a motivation to work hard so that I would not have to struggle with finances with my own family. I also wanted to help my parents for sacrificing so much so that we could have a better future. The struggles during the early years made me hungry and it made me stronger. It gave me a strong drive and motivation. It is a big part of my purpose and my why today. My initial understanding of property investing, to buy a house and then work my butt off in a job for the next 30 years to pay off the mortgage. I mean, that's what my parents did and taught me, so that's what I knew. And so I bought my first investment property in 2012 with the goal of paying it off over 30 years. Fortunately for me, the Sydney housing boom helped add a large amount of equity to my balance. So using the equity, I bought another house in 2014 with the potential for development and sat on that for a few years. My wife and I joined I Love Real Estate community in 2018. During the I Love Real Estate Super Conference in Sydney, we learned so much. We also had to unlearn so many incorrect things. Prior to our education, we bought our potential development site in the wrong structure. So we had to fix that by transferring to the correct structure, which cost us about $30,000. This costly mistake could have easily been prevented with the right education. One day, whilst being stuck in traffic on my way to my job with a 30-year mortgage, I was listening to one of Difna's podcasts. She mentioned an example of a creative strategy where you could keep the house at the front and build multiple houses at the back. That is when a light bulb moment clicked for me, realizing the same strategy could be applied to one of my own sites. The idea of retaining the existing house really opened up some new ideas for property development to minimize risk and maximize profit. I quickly applied the numbers to the site and they were fantastic and gave the best returns. I loved it and quickly called my architect and town planner to apply this strategy. I was really excited about it. The development turned out really well for us. So we decided to do a rinse and repeat strategy with a similar site just down the road. For the next project down the road, we recently got the DA approval to keep the existing house and build 6 new townhouses at the back. We plan to complete construction by the end of next year. By then, our net cash flow will be $118,000 per year for 13 properties made up of mostly new townhouses. Our total portfolio will be worth over $6 million and our equity is about $2.5 million. Yeah, it's safe to say I don't have to worry about eating on the ground anymore. I also made a promise with the boiled potatoes in my nightmares not to eat them anymore. So now we live in peace and harmony. The passive income from the properties has given me a great sense of freedom, as I know I can quit my job and spend my time on more valuable things. I'm very happy with this freedom. I can provide a better upbringing for my daughters and look after my parents in their older years. A big part of this fantastic result started in 2018 when we set our ambitious goal to reach 100,000 passive income in 5 years by 2023. We'll smash it by next year, so we were very excited and grateful for this achievement. I'm very glad I did the peg in the sand exercise, wrote down my goals, visualized it and told those around me about it. I still remember Difna's goal visualization exercise as an athlete. I was a bit skeptical at first, thinking, what is this hocus pocus magic she's trying on us? But after listening to Difna and trying it for myself, I can honestly say they do really work. I still do these exercises and encourage you to do the same, as they will change your life. These exercises, I still post them on the wall. Reflecting on this result, I'm really glad I joined I Love Real Estate. The education has allowed me to reach my goals in less than 5 years, instead of being stuck in a job paying a mortgage off over 30 years. That would have been really miserable. A big thank you to my wife, who has been amazing in support and encouragement along the way. She's the detailed numbers person in the team and is the rational one. Since joining I Love Real Estate community, I've met a wonderful group of people and we have become good friends where we still talk about life and property deals and can bounce ideas off one another. For me, the connection and sense of belonging to a community is priceless. The friendships and networking have been the best part of I Love Real Estate community. Thank you for allowing me to share my journey with you. I hope that it inspires you to chase your goals and dreams.